Pratik tells Ishaani about Naina's fear. Here Naina is sitting in her bed shocked. Ishaani asks her if there is anything serious and if something has happened between her and Shibham. Naina starts crying and Ishaani calls Nurbhay, but then Naina suddenly stops crying. She tells her that Shibham is her college mate and her lover since then, and now he has reached her home. Here Nurbhay blazing as Naina, Shibham and Vikram are missing and he goes to look for them. Suddenly light fuses are shot and Ishaani goes to fix them. Ranveer is wondering as to where Ishaani would be. It is dark and he too leaves to find her. Ishaani hides as she finds Ranveer looking for her. Ranveer asks that can she live without her, but Ishaani requests her to forget everything that happened. Ranveer requests her to tell him what happened between them that night, as he has started feeling different from that night. He holds her close and insists her to tell. There is a moment of intimacy, then Ishaani backs up calling her RV. Then suddenly light comes up and Nurbhay walks up there. Ishaani had already vanished, whereas Ranveer looks around giving the excuse that he came to fix the fuse. Nurbhay says that it has been fixed and asks him to come for dinner. Ranveer arrives at the hospital and watches Nurbhay there. He asks him about Nurbhay and the doctor present there tells him that Nurbhay is the owner. He tells him that it is NSA and Ranveer is shocked that whether it was coincidence. Ranveer comes to office and says that he was unaware of the fact that the hospital belonged to him. Nurbhay says that he invested some money and then leaves. Ranveer then looks at a photo of Nurbhay and Pooja. The doctor then tells her that this was his wife and love of her life. Ranveer is really confused that Nurbhay had a wife and Ishaani still married her, and he is also being treated in the same hospital. Here Ishaani wonders about Vikram's statement that Pooja was murdered. She wonders if someone from the house murdered her, and if so, who that person is. She then plans to search the whole house from Nurbhay's room. She then gets a call from Pratik and says that he called her as a brother, and both get emotional. He then asks to meet Ishaani. Ishaani that she will meet him and will text her time and destination of the meet. Ishaani then arrives at the venue and then a car arrives there. Ranveer comes out of the car leaving Ishaani in shock. He comes near her. Ishaani says that Pratik wanted to meet her there, and what is he doing there? Ranveer says that Pratik did so on his behalf, or else Ishaani wouldn't have come. Ishaani turns around saying that it isn't good for both of them to stay there. Ranveer stops her holding her hand and says that Nurbhay already was married. Ishaani says that he had a wife and he doesn't, and this is their personal life now. Ranveer says that there is something that is in a dark and asks how Nurbhay knows so much about him. He then says that why she married someone else when he was injected with virus D and she suddenly began to hate her. Ishaani asks him to let her go, whereas Ranveer holds her more tightly. He asks her to tell the truth and then he will take her away from all this. Ishaani hugs her and they both start crying.